We're back. It's Monday. In studio here with Chad Roseman, Randy Waples. Good to see you again, buddy.
Good to see you.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks since I've been down here with you.
I hear you all the time.
Yeah, you hear me.
I hear
Unfortunately,
you.
yeah, you got a volume knob. You can turn it down.
No, they just
turn
crank it right up there. As soon as you come on, they just spark it right up.
Yeah, they don't let you control
Here he comes.
Yeah, it's like torture.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. Anyways, good to see you.
Good to see you too. How was your Easter?
It was good. You know what? We hosted about 16 people.
Nice.
We generally host on the holidays. It's about the only time my wife will put together those kind of meals. And she does a great job, I'll say that. But it is a lot of work.
You better say that.
No, not that she's listening or anything, but 16 people. We're turkey folks for all of the holidays, which is good, and other stuff obviously. I had a 28-pound bird, which that's a big bird. And they generally say the rule of thumb is a pound for each person. Is what you want to get. So it's theoretically, I needed a 16-pound bird. I nearly doubled that because I like my leftovers.
Did you save the neck?
My father-in-law eats the neck every year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Save me the neck.
And he
Clark.
said, "Man, this bird had a big neck." yeah. That's what he. No, I'm not into that.
No, me neither. No.
Yeah. So,
No.
anyways, but no, had a good Easter. Hopefully, you had a good day off as well.
Did so. Yeah, nice and quiet. It was very nice.
Yeah.
It looked like it was going to be a nice day today too, though. And then the weather
It was sort of on and off, right? A little bit of rain. Track looks decent out there, which is good. Qualifiers, they were getting over it just fine this morning. And as we know, as has been happening over the last couple of weeks, we've been having some pretty good horses out there qualifying. And we're going to just kind of focus on a couple of them. We're going to start in qualifier number 2, where Mars Hill. Now, this is a horse that you might have remembered racing for Tony Alagna. It has been actually up at these parts, but is now owned by Willow Oak. Greg McNair trains. I know there were some qualifiers south of the border, and then here. I mean, how does he look here? This 4-year-old son of Muscle Hill, 56, and he's home at 26-3.
Wow, he's got kind of a unique gait to him too, eh? Like he's a little bit climby, but a solid kind of a gait
Isn't
to him.
Isn't he bulky up front?
Yeah,
too?
yeah. But he reaches lightly. He's got kind of a different kind of a gait, but a kind of a pleasing to your eye kind of a gait.
Yep.
Interesting. Looks good.
The next qualifier, we had 4 of the 5, actually the top 4 finishers. They're all NA Cup eligible through the second sustaining payment, including the one that holds on for the win up top, and that is Light Up the World. Remember, he was turning heads early on, and then I think he had a soundness issue, ended up shutting down, but by all accounts, he's come back great, because this is a 53-2 win with a 26-1 kicker.
Yeah, who's Louis got in his back, do you know?
That's Brigade for Kevin Ben.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, they both look good.
He came home at 26.
Yeah.
Yep.
It'd be interesting. Ooh, geez, he does look good. It'd be interesting, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed there, I'd love to see Kevin Ben in the North American Cup.
Yeah.
I would. I'd love to see it. He
great
deserves
horseman.
it. Deserves it. Great horseman.
Then a couple of qualifiers later, we had some pretty good-looking names in here as well. The one that ends up winning this Smiling Dancer for Paul Ritchie. This was an OSS horse last year that was able to show pretty good, ability to kick. 26-3 final quarter. Also coming home at 26-1. Louis driving Wicked and Single. We know how good that one was.
Yeah, very good
season.
one as well.
So, very, very good effort. But look at Smiling Dancer and the way that he can gobble up that ground.
My goodness.
Right?
Who did Tyler have? Tyler Jones?
Tyler Jones was driving Big Diamond, which I think is an older horse.
Yeah,
then,
he looked good.
if I'm not mistaken. And then Bob had his Perfectly Chic in there.
Oh, yeah.
She was 4th.
Yeah.
I think he'd be
That's
happy.
the one he owns with Pentland, right?
Yeah, 26-2 on the end of it, 56-4. So some pretty good ones.
Yeah, we're getting some nice horses coming out.
Yeah, it's I get excited this time of year once we get the email for the proofs for the qualifiers. You generally get them a day before. So, come Thursday, excited to see who's coming out. I'm hearing whispers we could see maybe the reigning horse of the year out Friday, perhaps.
I watched him train.
Yeah. Oh, yeah?
Nijinsky?
No, I'm talking Chantilly.
Oh, Chantilly.
Yeah.
I heard that.
I heard you talking the other night about Nijinsky. He said he looks great. I asked Tony Beaton about 3 weeks ago. I said, how's he coming back? And he said, wow, is he ever coming back?
He's amazing looking out there right now. Like he's not, I think he's grew a little bit taller, but he's really, really filled out. And you know how last year, like he had that big, climby sort of a gait in a way, like not a bad gait in any way, but it was like he'd come high up in the air that would almost make him look like he was sort of floating. He's worse this year. It just looks like you can't see his legs. He's just floating down the track.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. He looks so good out there. Really looking forward to this one.
All right, as we continue to get into our Monday program, how about the stats over the last week? And I think we've got a pretty good guess of who's doing some nice things in the drivers. I mean, just on the weekend, 8 wins.
Mr. McClure.
Yeah, Bobby.
Would be my guess.
Back-to-back star of the card, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So 10 wins overall over the last, this is our last 4 or 5 race days. What is this, Luke? Last 5. Okay, so our last 5, so 10 wins, but 8 of those achieved over Friday and Saturday.
Yep.
James didn't have, a James-type weekend, but still 7 wins. Dougie McNair, the same thing, and Louis running out. So Bob, king of the castle over the last few days.
Absolutely. And doing it from all different ways, too.
Yeah, got some prices home, too.
Yeah, got some prices home, coming from everywhere, put him in front. Bobby's playing the game right now.
Yeah, and one of the trainers that he was getting some wins for, I don't know if he's going to make the trainer standings, because he only sent out 3, but he did everything he could do with the 3, and there he is.
Benny Hollingsworth.
Benny Blue, yeah.
There he
Perfect
goes.
3 for well, this goes back to the last last weekend.
But his last 3.
Yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 1 starter in every night.
Yeah,
and he was able to win. So good on him, and let's get him some Hollingsworth gear. I mean, nothing wrong with representing the Alanya, but let's get him into his own namesake now. But Dave Maneri, how many times have we seen him on top?
Oh yeah, he's
in
still
there.
off to a good go.
Kyle Fellows also, and Gary Murner. He had Which Way to the Beach becoming racing's newest millionaire.
Oh, did he go over the million that night? I didn't realize that. But boy, that was
Thanks
a
for
nice.
listening to my race call.
I didn't. I honestly missed that. But I'll tell you, what a mile.
Tell him he listens to me.
Yeah, first over.
Yeah.
First up.
Yeah.
I didn't think he could beat Emmett. I really didn't.
Race good.
He did. Put him away and made him like it.
Yeah.
Good for him. So you're saying he's made $1 million?
Yeah, that pushed him over $1 million.
You should have said it on your race call.
Should have said it in my race call. That's right. Yeah, next time. When he hits $2 million. Okay. Tonight, as we look at the card, as has been the theme here, a lot of horses out, a lot of races. We've got 12 again, so we know we have the pumped-up wagering menu, but the feature, it's early. It's going to start the early pick for it's the preferred trot. Logan Park's the headliner in there, Randy, but is this not getting to be a pretty deeper preferred?
I could see him get beat.
Okay.
Yeah, I could. I don't think it's going to happen, but if it did happen with a couple of these ones in here, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
You can go anywhere, but I wouldn't be surprised by Gaines Hanover coming up with a big one. Amigo
He's
Bull.
qualified great coming back.
Yeah, or Quebec Hanover.
Yeah, even Osceola, you know the talent he has, right?
Greek
When he doesn't beat
up.
himself.
Yeah, Greek going to pick him up there, So, yeah, this is a really, really nice bunch.
Yeah, and we've got that one early on. So let's dive in because Randy's got a ton of replays that he wants to use to make a case for some of his horses here tonight. So we're going to cover most of them. Race number 1's where we begin, $75,000 guaranteed in the pool. As mentioned, no Jody Jamieson if you are just joining us. So we do have some of those drivers caught up early on. Travis Cullen on this one, Perfect Angel. Penn and Teller, Hanover from the center of the gate. Last week, it was somewhat of a different trip for him, at least based on recent return races. He got put into the race much sooner, and he responded pretty well to it.
He did. Yeah, he raced very, very well. I thought warming up, he kind of looked pretty good out there as well. I like the way that he raced. He's a 4-year-old. There's a couple of other 4-year-olds in here, but not really bringing to the plate what this guy's brought. So then the rest of them are 3-year-olds that he's going against. Again, a little bit of an advantage. Just loving the way that he's doing everything right now. And I'm just going to put him up on top. I like wearing the green, though. I think he's racing some good.
I think he looks great.
But again, Penn and Teller Hanover has a post position advantage. He's got a good date. Sometimes we don't see him with a good date. And he's a 4-year-old racing against a 3-year-old. I think a lot of things are aiming towards Penn Teller Hanover. I know you're not going to get a price from him. You know what I mean? If you're looking to play, for the price, I say go for the 8-horse in here because I don't think that he will go off as favorite. I'm guessing that Penn Teller will, but I don't honestly see wearing the green as good as he's racing right now. I don't see him beating this other horse. This Penn Teller Hanover horse, I think he's pretty special.
If he stays together,
yes.
I think he could develop into being maybe some, what they thought they bought, right?
Right. How often do you see trotters, Chad, coming quarters and 26 on the end of it? You know what I mean? It's not a common thing to see. This is incredible speed that this horse possesses.
Yeah, Fadeaway Hanover I think's been good, wearing the green, but unlike Penn Teller Hanover, they don't have experience yet at this number as a 3.
Yeah.
Right? So they could need that, and plus, as you mentioned, wearing the green outside. I will say, though, that PL Robert G was an impressive winner the other night. He was, I think, 5th in behind wearing the green in that last race, and he went in 54 the other night.
I know. And it's the way that he did it.
Good little reference, I think. All right, that's race number 1. We'll skip over 2. Let's go to our preferred trot in race 3. No show wagering here. A group of 7. We talk about Logan Park being the headliner in this spot. What do you make of him getting off the Lasix program? To you, a positive?
I suppose it's a positive. I mean, it's whatever they're thinking. I mean, I would guess that this has got more to do with the elite lot. I don't think you're allowed to race and Lasix over there. So my guess would be that they're probably thinking, hey, we better try this to see if we can go over there and race. And if it's a bad situation, then, so be it. I don't think it's going to be that. I think that he's going to be quite fine. I think he's going to be quite fine first start anyway. We'll have to see how it progresses from there. But he's just so impossible to play against right now. He's one of those kinds of horses that only comes around once in a while, that you can have such a dominant kind of a trotter. So he's going to be the way that I'm going. But like Chad said, there are a couple in here that are crazy good. So let's take a look at Logan Park's last race. Now, if you were going to get him beat, I think that's when you're going to get a chance at him. Coming back off of a long layoff, 2 qualifiers, first start. I think every time that he races, he's going to get stronger. So that's another thing, that's going to be tougher to take him down. But Gaines Hanover, this is a horse there that has beat him in the past before. Now Justin Turcotte is training this one. He came back up from the Pat LaChance stable, and he's had 2 viciously good qualifiers. Picks up what we easily said is the circuit's hottest driver in Bob McClure, but has the rail to work with. And Logan Park, you know what I mean? He got different ways to be able to do what he wants to do. I still think the race runs through Logan Park. Yeah,
I mean, just Gaines Hanover for me, what impresses me was not only that 26-1 kicker in the end, but 53-3 from a time standpoint in the morning qualifier. Logan Park went 53 in the nighttime on a track that might have been a bit quicker based on, it likely would have been cooler, obviously, in the morning. But yeah, he's just come back great. But, I would have to think that Logan's going to be even stronger here tonight, and they want to continue to move on. Now, he's been on the Lasix program, 3+ years. But the last time he didn't use Lasix was the All-Arage in Lexington.
That's a Hamble stake.
It must be a Hambletonian race, but 49-2 was his best effort ever.
Yeah, so I think the first start without the Lasix, I don't think that's an issue, but I would take a look at it. You know what I mean? And if you see something, if he wins by a nose off of easy fractions, then maybe there is a problem.
Okay, all right. That's the third race where Logan Park is going to be the talk of the town. There, race number 4, starting our pick 6 wager. We'll head there next. Where we've got a full group of 10, 4 and under numbers, a 15,000 lifetime. Still need a driver on Charlie's Wish. I heard you and Jeff talking about Rolex the other night. Not only has he won 2 in a row here, but he's added another since going to Flamborough Downs in 56-1, and did it, just stress-free, really, in that contest. J.R. Plant seems to fit him quite well, obviously, but you've got Cookie Air that's going to return here. I remember this guy racing last year, and I remember there were times where he had an opportunity, and I thought, okay, he should have a win, but he didn't. But you know what? Maybe he just needed some maturing, and you watched him in his qualifiers. How do you think he's come back?
I'm going to give him a +1. You know what I mean? Like I think he's going to need maybe a start or 2 before we start to really see the best. So let's let everybody out there judge, because he's going to take a lot of support. Garnet Barnsdale has him up on top. He's coming from the Beaton stable. James McDonald driving. Former Nancy Tactor pupil. Big time ownership on this one. He's going to take a lot of support in here, but I myself see him. I mean, James is tricky. Like you can never really get a real feel on how these horses go sometimes with James. But to me, I'm going to put him down as a +1. I think that they're at that point. He did ask him a little bit. He does move forward, but the race is way up here. He's way back here. So, the race ends up going in 55-4. Him 58-1. He'd qualified twice in 2-1. I think they wanted more out of him than that. Okay. So I'm going to say +1 and see what he does down the road. I'm going to go right back to Rolex. I love Rolex. And to tell you the truth, Chad, I don't think we've seen the best of Rolex. I think Rolex's best start was the first one on March the 21st when they raced him off of a helmet. He was absolutely flying on the end of it, like scary. He's raced good ever since, but he's been seeing the front a lot. One of these times he's going to land in a spot where JR can race him from off the pace again, maybe even tonight. And I think that's when we're really going to start to see Rolex. Rolex is impressing me. Yeah, we've got Rolex's last win here on April the 5th. As we mentioned, since then he has gone to Flamborough Downs, but here he is in that 57-1. And this is the same classification that he's in here tonight. And so it's kind of a beauty for him and anybody else that maybe fits this, because
it's not quite a numbers of 2, right? And it's not a numbers of 1. It's just in between there. And being the Ontario sire horse that he is, you get some additional money to play with, and it allows him to kind of continue to build a foundation.
Yeah, no, he's just doing everything so good. And like I said, he looks great out there right now. Looks fantastic. I mean, look at the separation to the rest of them. Nobody is in his wheelhouse. Nobody's coming up in his rearview mirror.
Yeah.
He's simply the best. But I swear, I think he's better even coming off of a helmet. One of these times we're going to see him coming off of a helmet, and he is going to go some ridiculous mile.
All right, so a few different opinions, but you and Johnny are going to go to Rolex down the center, the one with the win streak. Elisa, who's just not with us tonight, but we've got her picks. Is going to stay longer, who, maybe won't get bet down as a favorite like he was off the bench last week. Okay, let's move on. We're going to head to race number 5 next. It's a bottom level condition here for a full group of 10 on the pace. We did announce a couple of, missing chart lines. Horses that just raced a couple of days ago at Flamborough need a driver again on the 7 Arts Alive. Stash It Away is the lukewarm morning line favorite at 3-1 for James Friday Dean, and this is just a recent new recruit for him that, given that, coming here in that claiming handicap, having to come away with a 52-1 mile, it could set him up all right for this group.
Wasn't a bad effort, too, especially when you look at who
did the work.
And who beat him. Piglet and Kyle Zart.
Yeah.
They're both absolutely cracking good right now. So he got beat by 2 really, really sharp horses that are holding their form week in and week out. So no, I think that we could see a bit more out of him. Stash It Away. Showstop is the way that I'm going to go in this race. Now, last start, he had not raced in since March the 3rd. I put him right up on the top, Chad. Absolutely loved the way that he raced on March the 3rd. He was back in to go 3 days later in a 10,000 claimer and didn't, fortunately for Jake Roberts, didn't make it here. Then he has to, basically wait a month, 45 days to get back in to go so that he can't get claimed for that $10,000, his 7-year-old Captain Treacherous son. I put him right up on the top. He didn't have, I see Garnett's going to ride along this week. He must have liked the way that he raced last week, but I thought it was a good effort for missing, 5-6 weeks. I thought it was a good one. Maybe I was a week early, but I'm going to continue the ride. I thought it was good enough to come back to. Right here is when you start to see him get a little bit tired right on the very end of it, but coming back on a 7-day rotation, I think he's going to be that much better.
Yeah.
That is 100%.
Like,
so
had he come back in the same class, which is just above this, you could make a strong case for him too. But the beauty of it, you get him even at a cheaper level.
Wow. Everybody's on him now.
Words out. So I got a feeling, buddy, you're not going to get 9-1.
I don't think we're going to get 9-1. No.
Now, one thing I'll say, and I know he doesn't show up in here, Army Captain Hanover from the outside, when this guy first came here last fall. Now, obviously, he didn't have, the stale date because he had been racing out west, but he was really good in his first couple of starts, flying on the end of it. I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up right away with a good effort.
Chad, in my opening pick 5, I singled race number 5, even though I really like Showstop in here.
Okay.
For one reason. I singled him because I wanted to bring this 10 horse into it somehow.
Gotcha.
Same, 100%. I agree with you. I think that he can come up with a big effort tonight as well.
Okay, that's race number 5. Race 6 is where we head to next. Again, we've got 3 pick 5 opportunities tonight. The 6th race starts our mid-wager. Need a driver for Southwind Domino in this spot. Perfetto, he's closing in a millionaire status. I think he's been racing pretty well and now coming out of the preferred ranks where he was first up, but he's won many races first up. Almost like he thrives with that kind of a trip, too.
It doesn't seem to bother him.
No, it doesn't. No. And I think that's the way Dagfin trains, too.
I agree.
Right?
I agree. Yeah, they don't really get tired. They can take a ton of air. He can race them however he wants. He can race them off, off the pace. He can bomb them out of there, which I think is the way that he's going to go. I think he's going to come out of there lights on, horn blowing, and, looking to control this. Spartan General doesn't usually do a whole lot of leaving. I got him in for second. That was such a huge kick that he put on last
week.
Chris was
just sitting on him.
He's so dangerous, this horse.
Just sitting on him.
So dangerous how any horse of that size can get into top gear that quick. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I think that whoever put this race together handicapped it, and they have it just absolutely perfect for Randy, because my numbers are 5, 6, 7, and 8. So top mast, huge effort there last week for Desiree Jones with this guy. James McDonald going to come right back with him, but he is going to take a small step up in class. Perfetto I got in for 4th. Locatelli is the way that I'm going to be going with him. Really like the New Holland on him, and we're going to take a look at, I'm pretty sure, the last New Holland.
The final of it, yeah.
Yeah,
We're
March the 29th. Yeah. What an effort this guy puts up. And I'm telling you, Chad, this New Holland series, every time he stepped foot on the track, I would say to whoever I was working with, wow, does Locatelli ever look good out there? And he had an amazing go. Then he goes into the preferred last week. I think, again, just a little bit too much that last start. But in this bunch, non-winners of 14,000, I think that this is a drop down for him. And look at him putting it to new rules. Almost gets the job done. One step past the wire, he's in front. Locatelli, I think he's never looked any better. He's the route that I'm going to go. I just got to, hopefully, he's far enough away from Spartan General if he puts on another one of those vicious kind of kicks. That was an amazing move. Yeah,
no, it was. And, for Locatelli, that last race maybe doesn't look great on paper, but considering where he was sitting, given the fact that, they came home in 56, it was just, too much for him.
Well, right? and I even kind of go to, I just don't put him with Logan Park, Amigo Volo, or Quebec Hanover. I'm not trying to be nasty with anybody. I think at any time he can beat them, but I don't put him with them as consistently with those three horses. So I think that anytime you got a race against them, you're already behind the eight ball. You don't have to see any of them tonight.
Handsome Sebastian, you want to see one first?
One from out of him. Okay. Plus you two with the rail.
Yeah, qualifier was good.
Yeah. Sometimes, with the rail. And Trevor actually gets along quite well with this horse. We've seen this in the past with him.
All right, we're going to skip over a couple of them. Let's head over to race number 9. Do note, though, that race number 8 starts the late pick 5. That final one starting there in the 8th. Race 9 will kick off the late pick 4, where Mr. Ibiza, who gets the shoe change behind, racing for Shane Barrington here, is coming in off a 4th place effort where he did a lot of, the groundwork, but then tired late. Pop-up series, round 2, where do you go?
I went the 3-horse, YYC on the horizon.
Okay.
I'm thinking that Team Hensley could have a big night tonight. It could be a very, very big night for them. So, this is the way I'm going to go with this guy. I like the way that he raced. We're going to show you the replay of him. Big middle half, Chad, 56 and change, and then he follows it off with the last quarter in 28 and 2. So I thought the last 3 quarters was very, very strong for this guy, and I'm going to take a chance with him in here. More or less coming right back into the same class. Before that, he was doing a little bit of racing in the non-winners of 4, the non-winners of 5 kind of type. I think Eddie blew him out pretty good on April the 5th. He made a big move for him, trying to get to control. He did get it, but there was a horse right coming with him at the same time. He got run after that. So the last quarter was not as strong in that last one, but he comes back strong on this one. So I'm going to take a chance with YYC on the horizon. I like Mr. Ibiza. I like Brookdale Mickey, and I like Dirty Little Piglet. Right now, Dirty Little Piglet is racing very, very well and winning races, but even before I could throw Piglet in with the 1 and the 2, they're not horses that like to win a lot of races. Where I think that Eddie's horse is right now sitting on a big effort. He went 6 for 20 last year. He knows how to win. I'm hoping that tonight I catch him.
Yeah, and, for Mr. Ibiza, we're going to see this, too, with Stonebridge Helios as well. They were both in the opening round of the pop-up that was on Saturday. Went with round 2. That was Benny's Charge Batter Up Hanover. I think they won round 2. But Windblown and All Bets on Tex were winners in the opening round. They might find these horses a little more to their liking, right?
Yeah.
Than they were in that group.
Yeah, they could.
Yeah.
It definitely, you would have to think it's a little bit dropped down. The big thing with Piglet is like he's moving and making his way up, I think, like a big jump up. But to the same effect, I've never seen him have this kind of form in my life.
Yeah.
So I just think he's a horse you got to kind of throw in amongst. Garnett's putting him up on top.
52 mile would go a long way in here, wouldn't it?
It can. But I think that there's, again, I think that he's kind of stepping into the lion's den.
All right, how about the 10th race trot? Let's have a look at this one here to kick off the final pick 3 of the night. Group of 9. PPE, the 9-horse, will need a driver. Again, driver to be announced. Jamon, and not only is it his second start back, but now he's going to get, this is almost plummeting in class, right? You're going into the preferred ranks, and how many classes would this be down theoretically? 1, 2, 3? 3, maybe 4?
Maybe 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a bunch.
It is.
And Jamon just, he's going to try and take advantage of the opportunity. And I would say looking at that line from the 8-hole last week, he just needed it.
Yeah, and we've seen this before with Jamon when he takes these big drops down. Seems like next start winner. And I mean, compared to who he's been racing against, this is an atomic drop. Now, that being said, I really did try to find a way to put Nazy up on top in here. I think that this horse raced amazingly well in his last, and that's the replay that we're going to show you. Jamon is going to take a ton of support. Don't really need to talk too much of the praise of Jamon. He's a horse that is really close to being a preferred style of horse. You know, he's got the parts to do it, but he's going to find himself in this non-winners of 8,000 tonight. I think that is almost like a gift. Ship it, I would have to say. But Nazy in this last start, I thought that this was a really nice start. He spent some time on the outside and still had some good wheels on the end of it. Had no answers for top mast, but was much the best of the rest. So again, I was trying to find a way in here with him. Jamon, only the one start back. This guy racing every week, you know, I thought there was a chance that maybe I could take him down. But, you know, when you really analyze it, and when you go back to last season with Jamon, you know, any time that he took these big drops, it was almost like giving away money. So as long as he stays at it, I just don't see how they're going to beat him.
Yeah, and I mean, I was just looking to see what he dropped off of his last 5, and it was an invitation win at Yonkers, which converted to like 26,000 Canadian. Right. So, I mean, he actually even fits lower than this, but they're only going to allow you to drop so much. And, yeah, Jamon it's an opportunity. You know, you got to take advantage of it when you get it, right? So
sometimes you just got to, you got to be the chalk-eating weasel.
Yeah, he should be pounded there,
yes,
I would think.
Agreed.
All right, race number 11, more pop-up series action here to kick off the late double. We've got a group of 8 on the pace. And morning line favorite is Stonebridge Chilius. We just sort of talked about him. He had been racing against Windblown. I mean, when you look at his back half, it was a good back half. It didn't do anything for him.
No.
As far as an overall finish, Windblown was just, I mean, he romped and he was like wrapped up. He won by like, what, 6 or 7 or something like that. But we know what this guy's capable of when he's feeling good.
But that's the whole thing. Like, what's the deal right now? What's the mystery? Well, what's the big Rubik's Cube on Helios?
Game, right?
He is.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's kind of frustrating because I agree with you. You know, I mean, I know what he's capable of. I know what kind of speed he possesses. I mean, you don't often see a horse with a mark of 47 flat, and in 2 years of racing, he hasn't won a race, and he's only been third once. Something's going on with him. I hope that they figure it out and get him, you know, kind of being a little bit more consistency with him, because he really is a nice horse, and I want to see him back doing what he wants to do. I'm going to go 6 in here, Toronto. Okay. I'm going to call this locked in, but not really locked in. Let's take a look at this replay. So you know, it looks like there was a hookup between maybe Vino Louis, the horse first over, and Eddie down in the 2-hole here. They end up hooking wheels at one point, and it just turns into a real catastrophe for everybody that's in behind him, but especially for Toronto. He gets wiped right out here. To me, he had all kinds of go, and the horses in behind him. I think he had all kinds of go. And the thing that I liked about him is that he came right back pacing. A lot of times if a horse makes a break like that and they're not really into it, they'll just keep running because they know that it's a way out of work. He didn't. He came right back pacing and even shows a little bit of go on the end of it. Toronto's the way that I'm going to go in this race. He's going to be my Waples watch, and we're getting a shoeing change on him as well. Hensley's are going to go from steel to aluminum in front, making them quicker.
Yeah, and had that not happened, we're predicting he was going to get a decent share. Yeah. Last week, so now pressure's on. I don't know how many rounds this is, if this is just a 2-leg series or if it's 3, but you know, you're going to want to pick up big money in here anyway, right? Same with like a Southwind Sambuca, just joining this. He gets post relief. He's capable, I think, of doing some good things in here too. Yeah,
I agree with the Southwind Sambuca. I got him in for 3rd. You know, I mean, you know, 9 and a 10 in his last 2 starts.
All right, we do have 12 tonight. We're not going to cover the 12th right now. Randy will have you covered for that later, but should let you know that the carryover for the high 5, nearly $25,000. How about plays of the night? You've got your Hall of Fame 4-pack up here. What do you got for us?
I'm going to go all in with Going Fast in race number 2.
Okay.
Then I'm going to go Beat the Favorite.
That's Takura still, is it?
Yeah.
Going Fast?
Yeah, he's racing just so awesomely good right now. Yeah, Going Fast. And then in race number 4, I'm going to go with Rolex. Is going to be my Beat the Favorite.
Okay.
Race number 5 is going to be my Worth a Look. That's going to be Showstop, coming back to him. I still think I can get a bit of a price on him.
Yeah.
And not 9-1 though. Waples Watch, that's going to be Toronto. Race 11 in him. You're going to have to stick around for that one.
All right, well, Toronto was victorious last night and could be tonight here as well. Okay, Elisa, as mentioned, not with us here, but sent her picks and her thoughts. She's got Stay Longer in that 4th race as a beware play, dropping pop for Perfetto.
Blow up the board.
Look at that. Head honcho. And then Southwind Sambuca is her upsetter in race number 11. And the other lineup, we've got Garnet, John, and Gislan with Showstop, Locatelli, and Mystic. We get a bunch of these handicappers with their thoughts throughout the night. So you're in good hands. And I'll leave you to be, buddy. Enjoy your night. Good to see you again. Thank you very much. I got to jet upstairs. All the best with your wagers on this 12-race program. Gets underway in just under 10 minutes.